We want to take a closer look at this latest revelation about Iran's nuclear ambitions and the response by the United States and its major European allies. And to do that, we are joined from Washington by Fariborz Ghadar, a senior advisor at the Center for Strategic and International Studies, and he's also a professor at Penn State University. What is the possible military significance of this newly discovered uranium enrichment plant in Iran?
Well, the scope and the size of it, with 3,000 centrifuges, which is what we're told, basically doesn't make it appropriate for enrichment for power generation. So therefore, we become suspicious that this may have military implications.
How do you think that this disclosure is going to affect next week's meeting, next week's talks about trying to curb Iran's nuclear ambitions?
Well, it will make us a lot more aggressive, demanding a much more serious checking out of both Natanz and the new operation. Because up to now we've been taking baby steps moving forward, but in fact what's happening now is this revelation is basically poured cold water on the whole relationship.
How do you sort of envisage those talks panning out, when these two nations come face to face at the table?
Right, I think it strengthens our hand because they've basically been caught with their hand in the cookie jar. And they've had all sorts of people saying, well, they have the right to do this, they have the right to do that. And now apparently they've been doing things that, under the table. And so they have to come clean, and it sort of strengthens, I think, the 5+1's hand.
And in terms of the information, how does it make it easier now for nations like China and Russia to join the United States and its allies in supporting the idea of a much harsher sanctions regime against Iran, if indeed it comes to that?
It does. It gives them some cover to be able to be a little bit harsher. And you already saw that with Medvedev saying that, with the Russians saying that they would be more amenable and looking at it, that this might be a possibility of sanctions with regard to petroleum imports, for example.
Another interesting part of this story is that the United States government has apparently known about this building, this enrichment plant, for quite some time. So why do you think that we are only hearing about it now?
Well, there's a couple of aspects of it. One is that the Iranians fessed up to it, but B, we've got a situation where we're going for an October meeting, and the G20 are there all together, and so by making this open and apparent right now, we get a lot more bang for our buck.
All right, Fariborz Ghadar, thank you.
It's a pleasure.